Well, you just told me you weren't going to tell me.
Right there on my wall. Okay, man.
I hear an echo. Is there an echo in here? I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little deja vu, you know.
I wanted to what I thought is I thought for a moment I died and I was reliving my life.
Yeah,
but just the last 10 seconds.
It's only a 10-second flashback. Well, we're going to talk with you about. I understand there's an animal on the loose in the Goldstone household.
You know, we've talked in the past. I have been visited by vermin. And I'm not talking about, relatives and
Jackie
neighbors.
Vermin? No, different.
I have had, in the past, I have had squirrels. I have had raccoons. We spent a lot of time one day talking about the raccoon that beleaguered me for a very long time. But right. I had, was a week and a half ago, I had a bat. Oh. So I would like to, in a moment, share with you my bat story.
We better take a break because that's called, as Adam West would say, the bat tease. Robin, no, everything's a bat when you're that.
Well, I want pow.
Wham.
Bam. Wham.
Okay, we're coming right back. Chuck is here with me, Jordan Rich, the Jordan Rich Show, WBZ, 617-254-1030. Get a load of this. He had a bat. How did he deal with it? We'll find out right after this. Joining me is Chuck Goldstone, and we just teased the fact that you encountered another. You ought to have your own show on Animal Planet by now, with all of the animals that you've encountered in your...
The Vermin Whisperer.
The Vermin Whisperer. Yes.
I have no idea of
what is it with you and vermin?
I have no idea how they get into my house.
Now, was this a bat, right?
This is a bat.
A lot of New Englanders can identify with this issue, and the problem with bats is you don't know whether they're rabid. First of all, you have to be careful.
They don't wear IDs.
No, they don't.
And the last couple of weeks, there was a news story not too long ago in the newspaper, something that I seldom actually see now. It's all online, but it was actually on paper. It was about this invasion of bats in my community, which is typically kind of a bat-free zone. I live in Brookline, and we tend not to have.
Despite the fact that you're near Fenway Park, not far.
No, but well, it's it's as the bat flies, it's probably 2 miles. But it was an evening 2 weeks ago, and I'm walking from my study where I do most of my writing into the kitchen by way of my living room, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this. You see this thing that just doesn't, you typically won't see in a house. It was an object at eye level moving from one room to the next. And generally that doesn't happen at my house.
Particularly you live alone. It's not. Right.
No, yeah, and I had a dog in the past, and I have a cat, and cats tend to stay on the ground.
Yes,
unless
it's a flying
it's
cat.
An aerial, it's some kind of an aerial thing. Maybe one, it flung itself across the. So anyway, no, I saw this thing, and the first thought I had in my head is, you don't want to think it's a bat. I think it's a sparrow. It's like going into Costco, because you go into Costco and there are birds just flying around all over the place, but you have to buy 50 of them. That's the problem at Costco.
You got to buy a whole gaggle of geese, yes. Right? Yeah.
So I see this, and then I realize that based on the shape of this thing, it's not a sparrow. It's a bat. Now, the problem with a bat, and we were talking about this a moment ago, is that you really don't know whether they're rabid or not, and you really don't want to get close enough to find out. So I decide that the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can protect myself. So this is true. I went upstairs. I put a long sleeve shirt on, and I grab a tennis racket.
That's what everybody does.
First of all, you got.
When was the last time you picked up a tennis racket?
It's been. Let's put it this way. It's been so long that the tennis racket that I picked up, I think, was made of wood, or granite of some kind.
Yeah.
So I have this
it's a
tennis
rod
racket,
laver or something.
And I'm thinking about I'm going to try to attack a bat which spends its life, flitting around and avoiding things. I'm going to try to hit a bat with a tennis racket. Now, you have to understand, I can't hit a tennis ball with a tennis racket. I mean, you could throw a tennis ball toward me, and a tennis ball, unlike a bat, will not move out of the way.
Right.
Although, when you watch me play tennis, you would think that's the case.
Well, before you go any further, people do go for the tennis racket, and because I imagine, or a broom. I've heard the sweep, the big whisk broom, maybe.
Well, the nice thing about a tennis racket is the bats, because of this sensor location thing that they have, they can't really see the tennis racket because there are too many holes in. And if you saw the tennis racket I had, it has a little more holes than. So anyway, I grabbed this tennis racket, and then I realized that what I'm going to have to do is run around the house chasing this bat. And so now the next thing I do is I open a window, thinking that it's going to fly out the window.
I would have done the same thing.
And then I realized that it's just circling the room. Now I'm a little concerned because I have a bat. I don't know if it's rabbit or not. It's in my house, which it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be technically outside my house. So because it was a recent news story, I thought, all right, you know what I'm going to do? And then I realized after I did it how silly it is. I called the non-emergency number, but I called the Brookline Police, like they have a bat squad.
maybe they have a bat phone. You never know.
They sent the bat, their vehicle over. We know what that is.
Yes, right.
The Vermin Mobile is what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, they actually sent a police officer over.
They did? A cop came to your house? Okay.
Yeah. And there was really nothing he can do. So we're outside the house. They said, leave the door open and maybe the bat will fly outside. And I thought, fine, and I did. And then I see the police officer come, and I went out and we chatted with him. And the first thing I said, I'm really embarrassed. This is really a silly thing. And he said, no, we get a lot of these. Don't worry. And now we notice there's a bat flying around the outside of my house. So the first thought I had is, it's the bat that was inside the house, made its way out.
Logical, very logical thinking.
Now the bat is no longer in my house, and it's flying around the outside of the house. And then it hit me that maybe this is the spouse of the bat that's still in my house, and now they're both really a little miffed. So I went back in the house, and now I can't find the bat. Jordan, let me tell you something, and think about this. The only thing worse than seeing a bat in your house is then not seeing the bat in your house. Now, I don't know where it is, because what they say is you want to make sure you don't go to sleep with a bat in your room, because when bats bite you, you don't feel it. They can be rabid. So now I'm thinking, I don't see a bat in my house. First of all, you don't want to wake up. If you see a bat in the room when you wake up, that's bad. But when you don't see a bat in the room, that's
equally bad, because it could be anywhere. It could be in the bed.
And then I'm thinking, my gosh, every night of my life I can be bitten by a bat because I don't see the bat.
Also, the idea that a bat can blend in, I would imagine, with whatever decor you have. You have
Art Deco, typically.
Art Deco.
They become, and they stick to the wall.
Right.
It's really quite elegant. But the incredible thing about bats is they can squeeze their bodies into little tiny spaces, and that's how they get in. They can somehow
much like the cast of Jersey Shore in what they wear.
I am sure, though.
Trust me on that. Okay. I'm just dropping in a little.
Nonetheless, so the bat the bat is gone. So I'm hoping. It's been a week now, and I'm really hoping.
So there's no culmination. You didn't end up in a battle with this bat?
A battle?
I'm sorry. You actually just don't know where the bat?
I have no. The bat mysteriously disappeared as quickly as it arrived. And then I was thinking about, what is it with my community now? I had a raccoon a couple of years ago. I had a squirrel. I had a skunk. We have. I'm sitting in front of a Starbucks. This is last year. I'm sitting at a little table outside of Starbucks on Beacon Street. And if anyone knows Brookline, Beacon Street is a pretty well-traveled.
All right, hold your thought, because we have to take a little important news. Not that that's anything more important than what we're talking about.
This is a news flash, actually. But all right,
give me a few moments here.